Ariel Helwani in Los Angeles for UFC 227 alongside Cub Swanson, who meets Renato Moicano this Saturday live on pay-per-view. Cub, I have to say, off the top, the mustache is phenomenal. Well done. Where did this come from? Is this fatherhood right here? Is that fatherhood on your lip?
Yeah, I think I changed enough diapers and it just started sprouting out, and yeah, I can't get rid of it. So
You enjoy it?
I'm enjoying it for now. It's a little hot in the summer, I'm like, man, where's this extra heat coming from? But it's cool.
What about your wife? Does she enjoy it?
Yeah, she got used to it right away. People have been asking her, and she's like, "Oh, I forgot that you already had it," so she adjusted well.
Not everyone can, properly rock the mustache. You are doing a phenomenal job of rocking it, so kudos to you.
Thank you. It's taken a long time because before I tried to rock it, it was like going like this, and I was like, man, that looks bad. So I don't know. I think it is the fatherhood. It just kind of like naturally draped down, and it's better now.
All right, well, let's talk about the fight. Big fight over against a guy in Renato Moicano who is on, I think a lot of people feel like he's on the cusp of being in that sort of picture at 145. Have you been impressed with him overall thus far in the UFC?
Yeah, I mean, I think he's done a really good job of, using his length and his body type, which, as a coach, I've coached for years. That's something I teach people is whatever your body type is. If you're short and stocky, you're throwing big punches, you're trying to get inside. If you're tall and lanky, you're trying to stay on the outside. And he does that really well. He uses his feet, he's fast, and he's been able to do it against high-level guys. Am I impressed with him overall? Not 100%. It's not like wowing me. He just plays his game well. He's a point fighter, and I feel like I do really well against tall guys. So I think it favors me.
A lot was made of your free agency going into the Frankie Edgar fight and eventually re-signing with the UFC. Obviously, it didn't go your way that night. Do you feel pressure in this second fight on the new contract to sort of prove your worth?
No, not at all, because I've proved my worth for years. And I feel like we should all be millionaires, but I was taken care of. I was given, a bump in pay like I asked. And, I'm happy being home in the UFC. And like I said before, with USADA, and that's a big one for me is fighting other clean athletes. That was something that really worried me is like, man, I don't want to have to, compete against these guys that when people were cheating before, it's like the level, the field has been leveled, and so being back with the UFC with strict drug testing, and then them compensating me, I appreciate that, and I'm happy to be home.
You say that you feel that we should all be millionaires. Fair to say, happy with the bump, but you probably would want a little more like everyone else, right?
Yeah, like 50% revenue sharing like other major sports. I think that's, it's like, oh, sign a new deal with ESPN. Let's spread that around. But it's we're a young sport, and I think we'll get there eventually. But I just have to, whatever I'm getting, I'm gonna make the most of it. Try to take care of my family and do all that. But I do hope down the road someday that I'll get a phone call and they'll be like, "Hey, man, we owe you a whole lot of money," and it's like, yeah, send it in the mail.
The thing is, they're probably not going to do that out of the goodness of their heart until you guys come together. Do you feel like there's any momentum? There's been a couple of efforts to try to bring you guys together. At this juncture, do you feel any momentum? Are you interested in being a part of something like this?
I'm definitely interested in being a part of it, but yeah, I don't see any momentum as of now. But I think it'll happen eventually. It's just these. The problem is young fighters just want to fight, and they're like, "Oh, I'll fight for free. I want to be famous," and it's like that's dumb. You don't really get that until you're older. That it's like you deserve something, and it should be given.
So do you feel like it happens in your career while you're still active?
I don't.
You don't.
I don't.
Does that bum you out?
A little bit. Just
why not try to pick up the mantle and spearhead it yourself?
Who knows? Maybe I will. Right now, I'm kind of in the position where I just need to focus on winning fights, and that's what's the best for my family. And maybe down the road, I'd love to be involved with that. I feel like I've always had like a fighter-first mentality. I've argued with many promoters on lower scales about the way they treat fighters, and it's like, them bragging to me, "Hey, I signed this guy for this much," laughing. I'm like, yo, dude, I'm a fighter. Like, don't tell me that. It's disrespectful to me. Like don't brag about how little you're paying somebody, So I'm always been a fighter first, and I'll always be like that.
Last week we saw Jose Aldo win and I couldn't help but think about his fight against you back in 2009 because that was his last non-title fight. And I thought to myself, wow, here you are fighting a week later. The stars are aligning perfectly for that rematch that I know you've wanted for quite some time. Is that what you're thinking about as well? Obviously, you're focused on Moicano, but if you beat Moicano, would you like finally to get another crack at Jose Aldo?
I think that fight makes sense. You know, there's a lot of people calling me out, so I always have options, which is nice. It's funny, you know, these youngsters want to call me out. I'm like, why am I like the guy that you guys think you're going to pick on? So I take offense to that. But yeah, you know, Moicano's a striker, a Brazilian striker. So I guess you know, if I get past him and do well like I hope to, then maybe Jose Aldo is a good next fight.
Last thing, I know you're a very proud Californian. Fighting in the Staples Center isn't quite the forum. I know you're a longtime Laker fan, but this is pretty darn cool, right? Would you say this is like your mecca as far as fighting is concerned?
Yeah, I've been saying that. You know, everybody makes a big stink. I know about MSG. But that doesn't mean anything to me. If someone was like, you want to fight Madison Square Garden, I'd be like, you know, the taxes and all that. I'm not really wanting to fight over there. I will. You know, it's a big card. But, you know, Staples Center is where Kobe did it. There's a lot of history here already. I'm a huge, you know, Southern California sports fan. So, you know, for me, fighting here is literally my dream.
Where did they finish in the Western Conference with LeBron?
I think they could finish first.
First?
Mm-hmm.
Have you heard of the Golden State Warriors?
I heard of them.
First?
Yeah. I mean,
I thought you were going to say like fifth.
No. They'll do better than that. They'll be top 3.
Wow, okay, so you went from first to top 3. Maybe not better than the Houston Rockets. But top 3 I think is fair.
Well, I mean,
you have confidence in your
you
team.
got the Rockets and you got the Golden State Warriors, so top 3 is a fair assessment.
Right.
Yeah.
We'll see. Good to see you back. Good luck in the fight. Can't wait for it.
Thank you. I appreciate that.